So, age and disability. These are two subjects that are actually really close to my heart, and I'm going to explain how us as Americans versus other cultures have seen it. So, age. My definition of age now definitely differs from when I was 18. When I was 18, I told my mom that her being 35 was old. I am now 31 and I do not feel old. My definition of old is definitely my elders. I've learned to respect my elders, and there are 90-year-olds that are in better shape than me. And there is also 30-year-olds that I have seen in worse condition than some 100-year-olds. It all just depends on our genetics and how we take care of ourselves. As far as disability, I see it as something that changes your lifestyle. I come from a military family, and one of them's only 20% disabled because he has tennis elbow. Another one's 85% disabled because he has hearing impairment and a bad back. I also have an aunt who's an amputee, and she is 100% disabled, even though she is living a great life. In the generations that we have today, I feel a lot of millennials don't know how to respect their elders. And I also feel that, unfortunately, a lot of special needs children get bullied. I see people that make fun of veterans who are amputees. I feel the younger generation is very disrespectful to everybody, but especially with those with special cases and that are definitely older than them. In China, their age is a huge thing. It's their hierarchy. So everyone lives in the same house. So your grandparents will live with you, your parents live with you, especially if you're the son, and you take care of your elders. You are then expected to hopefully have a son, which is different from here in America. Here in America, we just hope for healthy babies, but in China, they especially want sons. They want boys to follow the name of what they come from and to continue the legacy. Yet in China, if you have a special needs child, you are considered shameful. You are excluded from the family, or unfortunately, that baby is given away for adoption to try again. Whereas here, a lot of us Americans will take care of our family members that have special needs. For instance, if my aunt ever got to the point where she couldn't take care of herself because of being an amputee, or my dad does have many compression fractures in his back and they're saying he might not be able to walk by the time he's 60, unfortunately, I would become a caregiver to my family. A caregiver is someone who takes care of the person with the disability. Many families will outskirt or outsource for a caregiver. But in my family, especially like when my grandmother was dying, we all stepped up and took care of her at home so she could be around all of us. Not saying all families do that, but we definitely do. My family and my definition of family is definitely the blood. It's your mom, it's your dad, it's your sisters, it's your uncles, it's your grandparents. I also do have a rodeo family, as I call them. And those are my bestest friends that I know will have my back. And those friends, after a horseback riding accident with me, they took care of my horse, which is like my child, and definitely stepped up to the plate. And a lot of them became my caregiver for 6 weeks while I was healing in the process. I know my slight disability definitely impacted my life, but I have to go on the subject of my aunt. My aunt had what they call a shark fracture. She has type 2 diabetes. So she slipped on ice 3 years ago and fractured her foot. They tried to pin it. They tried the bone growth stimulator. They tried many things, and unfortunately, her quality of life went down. So she did decide to have it amputated. Having it amputated gave her a better quality of life, but she's not allowed to do a lot of the things that she likes to do. For instance, she used to ride on the back of my uncle's motorcycle, and with her fake leg and not being able to feel if it's on the pedal, being ripped off on the street, she doesn't really go for bike rides anymore. She used to like to exercise, and she can't do that. She doesn't walk her dog anymore. She has started crafting at home with either yarn or epoxy, jewelry making. She is lucky enough to still be alive, and we are so lucky to still have her. Unfortunately, and excuse me for looking away, I want to make sure I get the statistic right for y'all. Every 17 seconds in America, a American is diagnosed with diabetes. Every day, 230 American diabetic patients are having to have leg amputations, and that's due to either ulcers, shark fractures, bad blood flow. It is estimated that every 30 seconds a leg is getting amputated in America. Unfortunately, this is the sad facts of having diabetes, and she knew that from the beginning. And unfortunately, a quick slip on the ice, which we all do every winter, especially us that live with snow and ice, that does happen, and that cost her her leg. Her family, along with my family, we all come from vets. And unfortunately, I believe because of this, it has made her stronger. She jokes around with her fake leg. She still does her photography the best she can, even though she can't hike and do the things she loves. But because of that vet mentality, being raised around them, and also just being thankful for what they've done and knowing how PTSD has affected them, made her stronger and happier in the quality of life. It is stated that out of 4.7 million vets, 25% of them had complete disability by the time they got out of the force. 29% only said that they had less than 30% disability, but over 41% had 60% disability or more because of their time of service. I know that working at a VA hospital is definitely a goal of mine, to be able to care for these vets. They do have PTSD and other red flags that the medical field needs to be aware of. But they need the care. They need to come home and feel welcomed again. I know my grandpa, who's a vet, and he's deaf because of the Vietnam War. He did have Agent Orange because of the Vietnam War. I know he goes to the VA, and they have done so much for him as far as his mental status goes, and along with all the physical needs that he has needed over the years because of his time in service of the 60s. When I did my clinical rotation there, I saw so many vets and so many amputees come in, and we would do x-rays to make sure the bone growth was still doing good, or just routine checkups. And a lot of them don't live normal lives when they come home. They're not like my aunt, who can just bounce right back because of family reasons and other PTSD reasons. I feel us as a society needs to come together, and I'm not saying just to help the military vets, but we need to help all the disabled. They are constantly getting bullied by some people, and some people are such empaths, they take too much care of them. And especially the elderly, they don't feel like they have a choice in their own patient care or patient rights system. In the healthcare field, we definitely need to take age and disability into consideration, and we need to be more about them along with all of our patients. We need to make sure we get a good patient history. If they're deaf, we should have sign language there so we can communicate with them. If they're blind, we need to make sure that everything is out of the way and they're not going to trip on anything, they're not going to hurt something. If they're an amputee, we definitely need to make sure that the table's all the way lowered. Ask them if they need help, but if they say they can do it on their own, try to let them do it on their own. A lot of these people live by themselves, and they're okay and they're capable, and they don't like coming out in public because of how people look down on them. We need to count every patient as equal. Every patient's going to have special needs. If it's getting on and off the table, if it's vertigo, if it's simply doing a blood draw and then they get dizzy afterwards. We need to take the time to make sure that all patient needs are met. And that's the same that we would expect if we went to the hospital for us. We would want healthcare professionals taking care of us just like we want to be taking care of them. I hope you guys have gotten a little bit of motivation out of this story, as I know every day I watch my aunt succeed, and every day I work with someone disabled and they all have positive outlooks on life. It shows me that life can be a little bit rougher for some of us, and that every day is a new day. And I really hope we start to treat our vets better. 22 of them kill each other or kill themselves each day, and that number is way too high. They sacrifice their lives so we can be free. The least we can do is let them be free while they're here at home and get them the help they need. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and thank you for listening.